Hi, welcome to the Humorous Knits podcast. My name is April. I wanted to start a podcast to talk about my knitting projects, mainly because I have a whole lot of them, and because I just really love knitting. Also, I've been trying for the past few years to work on making a knitting blog, and it's a lot of work to try to take the time to take pictures of everything and post them on the Blogger website and then write a whole lot of stuff about them. So I thought maybe a blog or a podcast would be a little bit more informative and take up probably a little bit less time depending on how much I want to get into video editing. I'm a student at the University of Georgia, and my main profession is getting this PhD that I'm working on. I am studying bioarchaeology, which is the study of human skeletal remains in or from archaeological contexts, which is a fascinating field. So basically I study human skeletons. And they can tell you a lot of information about how people lived and what their life was like. My main interest is to study human evolution and adaptation, and my area of expertise is in 19th century Italy. So I tend to have a lot of my time taken up by working on my PhD, which is a fantastic thing because I love bioarchaeology. You have to love it if you want to get a PhD in it, right? So since I have really limited time and I still really would want to tell people about knitting and keep up with my whips and stuff like that, and have just a little bit of reminder for myself to remember the process of knitting and how much I enjoy it and all that. That's the main reason I wanted to start doing a podcast instead of the blogging. Hopefully it will take less time, but I guess that really depends on how much I want to try to edit videos and make it really fancy. So I probably wouldn't expect too much video editing for this podcast. It'll probably just be a very simple video of what I'm doing and probably what yarns I'm bringing in and what yarns I'm using up, and hopefully a good collection of the things that I'm making, because I do spend a lot of my time de-stressing by knitting. It's a great way to de-stress. Let's see. So I have a few goals this year that I want to work on in terms of my crafting. Mainly, I really want to try to reduce the amount of stash that I have. Ironically, this video will begin with what I got recently to add to my stash, but the end goal will hopefully be to lessen the stash that I have. And if that's my stash back there, most of it, but not all of it. It really doesn't seem like a lot, but I feel like it is a lot. Besides being a PhD student, I am also in the process of learning to be more minimalistic, and yes, I'm getting on that bandwagon of minimalism, but I really like it because I've reduced my closet a lot, and it really does help with not having to go through a whole bunch of clothes to figure out what you're going to wear for the day. I think having less stuff in general is just very, very helpful for making life more functional. And so that's the reason I'm into the minimalism, is because it makes your life easier, because then you can create spaces that are functional spaces in your home. If you don't know what minimalism is, there are lots of TED Talks about minimalism and the benefits of it. I think it's a pretty good approach to life and a good philosophy of how to have things in your life. So I'm kind of hoping to get a little bit more like that with my stash, even though I still really you know, it's kind of a struggle for knitters too, because you want to have a stash so that when you have that creative spark, you have something to work with. Or maybe to have things around that will make you feel more creative. Like, what can I do with this? What would look best with this particular yarn? So it is kind of a give and take on that. I don't really know what a good size stash would be, but I do hope to reduce my stash by mainly just knitting more than I buy. It's really my goal. So if I can buy less yarn but knit the stuff that I have, then I'll be happy, you know? I'll feel like I'm actually using the stuff that I have. So that's one of my goals, is to kind of cut back on my stash, and one of the ways I'm doing that is working on the stash down. There's a group on Ravelry called Stash Down that you can put in how much you're getting in and how much you're taking out in terms of yards, and it tells you in the spreadsheet. It's kind of a competition, but a personal competition, and I did it last quarter. Failed miserably. Absolutely failed, mainly because my lease had a yarn sale, so I went and bought a crap ton of yarn of that. Mostly because I really wanted to support that lease. I've never had one before, so once I moved out here in Athens, Georgia, and finally had a lease, I was like, no, I want to support the small business. So I went and did buy a whole lot of yarn there. And then the end of the year is Christmas. So for Christmas, I got a lot of yarn. And then they had all those end of year sales, so I bought a lot of yarn too. But hopefully 2016 will be the year that I start cutting back a little bit. Yeah. And I'm not saying that minimalism is for everybody. It's just something I want to work on. So if it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, if you want a big stash, that's totally fine too. Because we all love knitting, so why not? What else? The reason I bought a lot of new yarn too is because I want to work more on sock knitting. The stuff I mainly knit is really small projects, but not socks. Mostly hats. I have crap tons of hats. I made 17 hats last year. 17. Of course, I make hats for gifts, so a lot of those aren't mine. I give them away to other people, or make them for other people because I like making stuff. I also like making gloves. I do like making sweaters and big projects like that, but I don't do that a whole lot. Though last year, I worked on a camisole. I knit it 3 times because I kept messing up the pattern. Yeah. Knitting is a practice in patience, definitely. But I do love it. The end result was fantastic. So, never give up. That's one thing you should remember. Never give up. Even if you didn't get it right the first time, just pull it out and try again. Unless it's felted, and then you can't do it. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the stash additions that I got in the past week or so. For Christmas, my parents, who are lovely people, and I love them very much, got me a gift card for Knit Picks, $75. I couldn't believe it. That's a lot of money. So I used that and got a whole bunch of stuff from Knit Picks. But before the Knit Picks stuff arrived, I went to Michael's because they were having a year-end sale, and I bought a bunch of like acrylic type yarns and some lightweight yarns that I could use for making socks and other things. So I'm going to pull that out and show you guys what I got. So the first things that I got from Michael's were some Lily Sugar and Cream in, let's see, sage green, and I think this is called jute. Yeah, sage green and jute. And these will be made into stuff for our kitchen, because we have a lot of need for things like pot holders in our kitchen. We just don't have a lot of that type of stuff, or it's really, really old. So I'm going to make some of that stuff for our kitchen using these. The other thing I got was some Red Heart Soft in black and some Karen Simply Soft in white. these will be made into a charity project that will be very Scully themed, probably a Scully themed cowl for the American Association of Physical Anthropology meetings. They hold an auction every year, and my advisor suggested I make something for that so that we can auction it off, and I think it benefits student travel funds. So that's what I'm going to be making with these. Yay. That's just one bag. It keeps coming. I also got 3 balls of Lion Brand Woolies Thick and Quick that I'm going to make into a Katniss style cowl. That there's a really nice pattern on Etsy that I'm going to buy and use these to make into a really nice cowl. I made another one of those Katniss style cowls for my friend Francesca, and it came out a little small, even though I tried to make it a little bit bigger. I guess I just didn't make it as big as it should have been. But and the other thing is that it had like a rope crocheted into it so that it kept that like round structure. And she also wanted something a little bit with a softer, that wasn't so hard, a softer collar. So I'll probably buy that pattern. I saw the pattern and I fell in love with it, and I was like, oh, I want to make that for myself. So I told her I'd make her another one too. She just gotta get me the yarn, and I'm gonna buy the pattern, and I already bought the needles for it, so I'm looking forward to this. It'll be really cool. And then the last bag from Michael's, it has a lot of stuff in it. So I bought a bunch of these wool-like yarns, the Loops and Threads wool-like, which are right on Ravelry, were pretty good, I guess. And they're light, they're a fine, super fine yarn, so that I can make some socks with these. And not have to spend a whole bunch of money to get really nice sock yarn, because I do have some nice sock yarn, but I want to make some use some not so fancy yarn before I start making like really nice socks with a really nice yarn. So I'm gonna try to do this, and hopefully I can make my family some socks. I'm sure they'd love that. They generally like all the stuff that I get them, so hats usually. But I'll try to work on these. So I got 4 colors of these, and they were like $1.30 or something, really, really cheap. So they were not expensive at all. This is a mauve, which is not the color I would call it. This is not mauve. This is like a plum, but whatever you want to call it, Loops and Threads, that's fine. And then this is, I think, denim blue. Yeah, denim blue. And it is a denim blue, that's right. And then this one's the scariest of them all. It is a very blue purple, and it's just called Purple. And yeah, I love purple and I love blue, but this is very bright, and I'm a little afraid of it. But we'll see how it goes. And then the last one I got was a red. A lot of my family likes red. I mean, I have the hair that's red already, so I don't really wear a whole lot of red because of the hair. It doesn't really, I mean, sometimes it does, but not always. So hopefully these will turn into somebody's sock gift. Maybe my husband's or my mom's. She likes red too. Or my mother-in-law, she also likes red. Let's see. And then the whole reason I went to the yarn sale was to get this. Lion Brand Heartland. This is fantastic acrylic yarn. I love this stuff. It comes in really beautiful colors. It's really soft and smushy. A lot of people talk about squeaky acrylic yarns and how they don't like the squeak, and I've never really had that problem, but I also knit mostly on bamboo or wooden needles. So maybe that's why I don't have the squeaky issue, but if you want an acrylic yarn that's really nice, this stuff is fantastic. And it comes in beautiful, like heathered sort of coloring, and they're all like very earth tony, and I just love them. My friend Francesca got a ball and had me knit her a hat with it, and I was like, I gotta get some more of this. This is great yarn. So I'm probably just gonna make some hats out of these, or some gloves or something. But I got 4 balls of these too. This is, what is this called? Yosemite. It's a beautiful like burnished color. Almost matches my hair, almost. I got a green, which is really pretty green, called King's Canyon. Really nice. Very soft. And the other 2 fell on the ground. Yay! And then there's a brown. My husband picked this out. He likes brown, so I'll probably make him a hat or some gloves with this. Probably, I think he asked for gloves, so I'll probably make him some gloves. And this is called Sequoia. Really pretty. And then the last one, which is on the ground, is Glacier Bay. It's beautiful blue, kind of light blue color. I really like this color. It's beautiful. So another probably hat or gloves, probably. But that's all the stuff I got at Michael's. It was a lot of fun. Of course, my husband wasn't. He's pretty happy with the fact that I'm getting what I like and doing what I enjoy, so he never complains about my yarn shopping. But as much as I collect yarn, he collects DVDs, so you know, we're kind of evenly matched on that. He loves DVDs. So for knit picks, I got a bunch of stuff. I got enough to make 1 sweater out of this Billow stuff, which is a cotton bulky weight yarn, and it's in this comfrey color. It's beautiful, like a purple. And I'm going to make the pumpkin pie sweater by Heather Dixon out of that. This, I think it'll look really nice at the end, and it's really soft. So I like it so far, but I haven't actually started knitting with it, so we'll see. Got, I believe, 8 skeins of that. And then had the same idea with the, I got some Dishy. So I'm going to make some stuff for our bathroom with this stuff because it seems a lot nicer than the Lily Sugar and Cream. So bathroom instead of kitchen. So I got the color, what is this? Oh my god, I can't think. Honeydew. I can't find stuff. Reading is challenging. Okay, Honeydew. It's a beautiful green color. And then I got, I think it's called Linen, because it's a natural sort of color. Linen. I got 2 balls of each of these. So, dishcloth knitting for the wind. Really pretty. Very soft. Some more black and white yarn. I got some comfy worsted in white and in black to make some gloves. I forget what they're called. I think they're in French Girl Knits, but I'm going to make some black and white colorwork gloves with these. And they seem really soft too for something that has acrylic in it. And then finally, I got another ball of Brava Bulky and Cobblestone Heather because I started making a hat with this and then I didn't have any more. So figured I'd get the last ball I'll need to finish making the hat. And then the last thing I got was Hawthorn yarn in Poseidon, and probably make some socks out of these. It's really pretty green tonal yarn, very nice, very soft. So I'm looking forward to knitting with this, and hopefully making something really pretty out of it. So that's all the stuff that's came in the past 2 days. Lots of fun to be had, I suppose. Lots of things to knit. So the next thing I want to talk about is all of my whips. And there are a lot of them. Unlike a lot of knitters who can concentrate on 2 or 3 things at a time, no, April has to have like 20 things going at the same time. So I have a lot of whips. At least a lot, in my opinion. I think it's a lot of whips. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is this whip, which is hopefully will be finished soon, but it's Vancouver Fog. I'm using a Debbie Bliss yarn to make it, and these are going to be a gift for my friend Kat, who I adore and who's really, really sweet. So I hope she really likes these once they're finished. And they're almost done. I have like the second one going, and I'm using my mom's. My mom got this for me for Christmas. A bowl, a yarn bowl, my first yarn bowl ever, and I really love it. It has a cat. My cat also loves yarn, so if I wake up one day and there's yarn all over the floor, like in a nice spiderweb pattern, it's because the cat got a hold of it. He loves yarn. So this is very appropriate for me, and I really, really like this. So hopefully that'll be finished in a couple days, since I still have a little bit more time before the madness of the semester begins. So some of the other things I'm working on are using some regular red heart to make, this is going to be a pillow. I have to make the pillow to go inside of it though before I can completely finish it. So it's just a round pillow, and I've made one, but I'm probably going to end up making like 4 of these. And I got it in this nice orange color because our living room is mostly browns, tans, and it's like a seafoam blue. And I thought this would be a nice like contrasting pillow to go in our living room. So hopefully once it's done and I have the pillows made, then it'll look really good. Plus our dogs love pillows and they lay all over the couch, so they're gonna really love these, I'm sure. And so I have one made, mostly made, and then another one on its way. Hopefully this will get done soon too, but we'll see. What else? Okay, so you know how I said I worked on a hat? Well, here's part of the hat. And now that I have the rest of the yarn to finish this hat, I'll probably finish up this hat. I think this pattern is Pinch Hat by Cecil. I don't know. It's the Pinch Hat. It's on Ravelry. I think it's also in a book that I have. Sorry, I don't know. The Pinch Hat. So hopefully it'll get done soon. Next thing is a pair of socks I'm actually working on, because I am knitting some socks. And I'm using, actually I have one done, one complete sock. I hope it shrinks because it's a little big on me. But this is made of Knit Picks Stroll in cork, color cork, and it's the Cadence socks. Which was, I guess, a mystery knit-along at one point, and so it has a bunch of, like, 4 clues that you have to follow to finish making the sock. And they're really beautiful, beautiful, like, lace pattern. I don't know if you guys can see it, but, yeah, it's a really beautiful lace pattern. I have one done, and I have the very beginning of the next one, so this will probably be a little while before I finish this one. Only because it just takes so long to work in the lace pattern, and soft knitting is very fine knitting. So, let's see. Next is a sweater that I've been working on. This is, I think it's called Knit Picks Simply Cotton. I don't remember the colorway, but I'm holding it double because it's I think a sport weight yarn, and what I'm making is Heather Dixon's, what is this called? Cromartie. Yeah, Heather Dixon's Cromartie sweater, which will hopefully be gorgeous. I mean, it will be gorgeous because it's a beautiful pattern, but I hope this turns out really well. I really like the yarn. It's very nice and soft, not scratchy at all, and I have probably about 40% of the way done, maybe probably less than that, let's say 30. I haven't had a lot of time to work on it because of knitting gifts for Christmas. Everybody got a hat for Christmas, so. But I hope to finish this up soon. Hopefully in the next 2 months or so, if that's a goal. Okay. And then another thing I'm knitting, yeah, I told you I had a lot of whips, so. This is a sweater for my husband. He picked out this yarn. It's also Knit Picks yarn. It's Knit Picks. It's the one with beechwood fiber. It's a cotton yarn with beechwood fiber, but I don't remember what it's called. Because all I know is that I knit it. That's all I know. And it's just gonna be like a plain kind of hoodie thing. That's what he wanted, a long hooded sweater thing. I think it's gonna have pockets maybe. It's called Emilian. It's online on Ravelry. That's where I got the pattern. I don't think I have it printed. If I do, it's probably in a binder somewhere, so yeah. But it's coming along very slowly. I haven't even actually gotten really very far at all with it, so this is going to be probably like a very long-term project that's going to take a very long time to finish. But the yarn is very nice to work with, and hopefully it will get done before next fall, because that's probably when he'll want to start wearing it again. But then again, we're in Georgia, you know, when fall happens, like January. So it's hot always down here. You know, there's like a heat wave going on the East Coast. And Christmas Day, we have to drive like 2 hours to get to my house, my family's house, and we were driving with the windows down. It was like 75 degrees outside, which you might think, oh, that's normal for Georgia, but actually no, like, normally we do have winter in Georgia, and normally it comes earlier than January. But it's just the weather's been so weird here. It's just been like raining all the time, and then it's warm. And I have pretty severe allergies, so it kind of sucks. Because then, like, mold is everywhere, and freaking pollen is everywhere, and there's no escaping it. You're just going to be miserable. Yeah. So I'm hoping that it will get cold soon, so that all the stuff that I knit won't go to total waste, at least this year. Yeah, that, and also if it doesn't get cold, then we have lots and lots of bugs in the summer. Yay! So please pray for cold weather, even though I don't really like cold weather. I have low thyroid, so I'm cold all the time. All the time. But I can always wear a sweater, and I'll be okay. We need the cold. The next thing that I'm working on is the Raina shawl, which I'm really hoping will be finished soon. It's made of Dream in Color. I think Lipstick Lava is what it's called. And it's really beautiful, really soft yarn. I really like it a lot. And I'm at the last pattern repeat, so I'm probably just going to knit until the ball runs out and bind off. So I have about this much left, and I think that'll get me through at least more than the last repeat of the lace pattern. So once I'm finished with the lace, then I'm just going to bind off and be done with it. It'll be a nice triangle shawl. Project name for it is Yule, because I made it for Yule. And Yule has passed, and sadly I didn't get to wear it, but hopefully it'll get done soon and I can wear it next Yule. And then I have 3 more projects that are still in the works. This next one is the Iona dress by Heather Dixon, and I don't have very much of it done. This is the back. It has a long ways to go, but hopefully I can finish this year. This will probably also be a long-term project that will not get worked on a whole bunch during the year, but I'm hoping to finish it this year. Let's pray. So there's that one. And then I have a few things that I'm trying to make to sell at some point, since I did a lot of gloves and hats, and only, one person can only own so many hats and gloves. So this thing that I'm making, it's just a very simple pair of ribbed gloves that are in Georgia theme colors, because I figure people from Georgia would probably like to have UGA themed gloves. Football's very popular at UGA, in case you don't live in Georgia. Yeah. Very, very popular. So I'm making some gloves, and hopefully that'll eventually be put on an eventual Etsy webpage, but I don't have Etsy yet because of the insanity of everything. So hopefully I will make an Etsy site soon, an Etsy store. And then the other thing is, I guess also something for Etsy, because I don't think I will use it. It's just a shawl, a simple shawl, a garter stitch shawl that I'm making out of this mustachio yarn. It's grenache. I speak Italian, but I can't pronounce this. Okay, this is my best guess. Grenache mustachio, which is, I got this yarn from my aunt whose mother is in hospice, sadly, and can no longer knit because of all the arthritis she has in her hands, which is very sad. But she had this large stash that my aunt finally convinced her that she should probably just give away. So when I went, my aunt was like, take it all, take all of it. She wanted to have it be gone or whatever. So I got this mustachio from that last year, at the beginning of the year. And I haven't been able to figure out what to do with it, because it's a kind of I think a balsal yarn, and it's very weird, but it's soft, so I think it'll make a nice shawl. I just need to work on the shawl. And it's a nice kind of knit that you can do when, you don't want to really think about anything, because it's just knit. So, very simple garter stitch shawl, which will hopefully be a gift or go on Etsy or something. I don't know. Anyways, that's the last of the whips. I only have 12 of them. A lot of them. Hopefully I will be able to cut back on the number of whips that I have, so that it's not so intense every time I make a podcast. That oh, here are the 15 whips I'm working on, and what I've progressed on them. Because weekly, when you have that many whips, you're just not going to progress them much. Nothing is going to change a whole lot unless you focus just on one thing. And usually that's what happens. I'll knit a bunch of things, and then once I get pretty close to finishing something, that's when I'll okay, I'm going to finish this, and I finish off a whole bunch of things at once. So that's usually how it goes. But I think probably the next time I talk, I'll have finished the gloves. And there are 2 balls of yarn that I need to make into hats for my friend Francesca. So I'll probably work on doing those 2 things. I don't know what else I'll work on. We'll see. Probably the Raina shawl. I'll probably get that done, because it's almost done. So I may as well just finish it. So that's maybe something to look forward to next time I podcast, which will hopefully be next week. Let's cross our fingers. So I'm hoping to podcast every Sunday. We'll see how that goes. Next Sunday shouldn't be a problem, because I will not have started my semester yet. But the other thing to be cognizant of is that this first couple months of this year are going to be really rough for me, because I'm in my 3rd year of the program that I am working on towards my PhD, and in your third year you do things like prospectus defense and comprehensive examinations. And so my advisor wants me to do all of that in the first couple months of this year. So by March, it'll be done. Both of them, which is intense. So if you, like, the prospectus defense is pretty simple. You write your prospectus, which I already have done, and then you do a public presentation, like a PowerPoint for half an hour, explaining what you want to do and why it's important, and then you have a round of questions from your peers, and then you talk to your committee about your prospectus afterwards. So that's probably going to happen really soon, because the prospectus is written. I just need to make the PowerPoint. And then the comps, that's the scary part. So in my program, your comprehensive examination is basically where you read approximately 300 citations in specific fields you want to be an expert in. And then you don't just read them, you memorize them. And then you go into a room once you've done all that prep work, and you write for 4 hours a day, answering questions that your committee has come up with. And you have to be able to remember who said what and cite them in text. So you don't have to remember like the end citations, because that would be crazy, or page numbers. That would also be crazy. But you do have to remember, like, Goldstein, 2007, said such and such and such. And so I will be reading a whole lot in the next few months. And I will be making flashcards, and that'll probably be the vast majority of my weekend. But during the week, I tend to come home after school and unwind for a couple hours, because if you've been working all day, you can't just come home and immediately start working again. It's just too much. So I come home and I'll sit down and watch TV or knit and cook dinner, and then I'll work for another couple hours in the evening. So hopefully I will make some progress, though it probably won't be a whole bunch, on my WIPs, and I will try to keep you guys up to date. Thank you guys for listening to my podcast, and I will hopefully see you guys later. Bye!